Okay, in this lesson you're going to be learning about cumulative frequency. So can you put that heading down, please? And if the teacher just needs to pause the video whilst you do that, that's fine. Cumulative frequency. You need to know what both of these words means. Cumulative means running total. And can you write that down, please? Cumulative means running total. Frequency means how many times something happens. So frequency means how many times something happens. So the cumulative frequency is literally a running total of how many times something happens. So as an example, we're going to do a very short table. You will need to split your page into 3 columns of an equal width. The middle column will be frequency, how many times something happens. The final column will be the cumulative frequency. And the first column will be the column that contains our data. And the data is going to be time in hours. So we need to draw this table out. I'll continue to do a bit more, then I'll ask the teacher to stop the video and you can just fill a bit more in. Our time is going to be split up into 2-hour intervals to start with. So the top interval is 0 to 2, second one is 2 to 4, the next one is 4 to 6. These are less than signs. But there is a problem with what I've done so far, because at the moment this group here says t is bigger than 4 and smaller than 6. So neither 4 nor 6 can actually go into there. Always on these tables, one of these sets of signs, either the one on the right or the left, has to have the extra little bit in there, like this, to show that, for example, a time of 6 is allowed in here, but not allowed in here. Think back to what Lewis said in the lesson last Tuesday afternoon. If anybody needs any help, perhaps the teacher could stop and Lewis could explain it. So, we're going to have here 3 people had a time between 0 and 2 hours. We have 5 people there, 8 people, 4 people and 2 people. So that needs to be copied down. You may need to pause it there. The cumulative frequency is just a running total of the frequency. So one way to think of it is like this. At this point in our table, how many people's times have we had? We've had 3. So that 3 will go there. When we come down to this part of the table, how many people's times have we now had? Well, we've had those 3 people and these 5 people, which make it 8. When we come down here, how many people have we had now? Well, we had 8 people at this point. Another 8 people here makes it 16. And all you need to do is just keep adding these numbers on to your total, to your running total, and you get your cumulative frequency table completed. Once you have finished drawing out your cumulative frequency table, we always then, as a next step, draw a graph. Now, I don't want you to draw this next bit down. At the moment, it's just a sketch. On the axis that goes up, we always have the cumulative frequency. So we always have the cumulative frequency going up the side. Along the bottom, we always have our measurements. And in this example, our measurement was time. Now, for the example that we are doing, we are going to have, so I just do another sketch over here, cumulative frequency going up the side, starts from 0 always. Now, our biggest cumulative frequency number was 22. So we will have to go up to 22. And along the bottom in hours, we had time in hours, and our times went from 0 to 10. So I need to go along from 0 to 10. Now, what I want you to do in your books is to copy just the left-hand one down here, just so you know that cumulative frequency always goes up the side, measurement always goes along the bottom, and you always start there with a 0. So I want that drawn. It's only a quick sketch. You don't even need to use a ruler. And then once you've done that, we're going to draw the real graph out neatly using squares in your books. And we're actually going to have to draw this 22 squares up and 10 squares along. And we're going to do it using a ruler. So the next thing you'll need to do is to draw that out neatly. So I'm just going to stop for a minute, give you time to copy that one down, and then next time I'll have this one drawn out on square paper. What I've got on the screen now is my axes to draw this graph. On the bottom I've got my time in hours going from 0 to 10, and up the side I've labelled it cumulative frequency, and I've gone from 0 up to 22. Now I will need you to do that using the squares in your book. If you've got a ruler, use a ruler please. If you haven't got a ruler, bring one next lesson, and right now you should be able to use the straight edge of your planner to get some straight lines. So, can we get that drawn? You can pause if necessary, and I'll carry on in a minute. Okay, from our table here, we've got to draw the graph. Now it's really important that you learn what to do. From the table, we always use these numbers here. We always use the big numbers of our actual measurements. We don't use midpoints, and we don't use these. We always use these big numbers up here, and we use these numbers here in the cumulative frequency. So if you can put somewhere, plot on graph, and arrow those numbers, that will be useful. So what we're going to do on our graph, if we just look at the sketch we've got down here, I'm going to go 2 along, and I'm going to go 3 up, and I'm going to put across. I'm then going to go 4 along, and 8 up, and put across. I'm then going to go 6 along and 16 up and put across. And when I've got all of my points plotted, I'm not going to join them up with a straight line. You need to join them up with the smoothest possible curve you can. The smoothest curve you can going through them. So I'm going to take this bit of paper away, give you time to do that. You may need to pause the video, and in a minute I'll have my curve and the points drawn.